watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community. And I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
And together we are
Rope Break.
And it's time for NXT, Jean-Paul Leek. It was a pretty good show. It was just, it lacked a lot of star power, meaning like the main guys were not on. But actually it benefited. I think that it did a lot better for everybody else because everybody was showcased in a better way. I feel that like despite we didn't have like Adam Cole for the first time in such a long time. We didn't hear him at all. Gargano, we had a promo very tiny. Didn't matter much. Tommaso Ciampa is the only one that kind of like the main star power, and we just hear from the Prince.
Yeah, so, let's just quick kind of touch on that because I thought that was we had Keith Lee, obviously, the two belts, and Karrion Kross. I mean, he came out and unfortunately had to relinquish it, but, he was in a suit. He looked good. And then you see Balor. It's like he wins it, and then it's just a thing backstage with Triple H and them last week, and then it's like, no celebration for him. No. That I thought was a little bit like, really? And I hope that's not a sign that he's transitional, because if so, that would be absolute bullshit. But, yeah, I agree. There wasn't, like, maybe the big names in prominent roles, but we saw a great main event, a pretty good opening match, and a bunch of, some good matches in between from guys who it's good to get the TV time because, they're like you say, you need to build new guys. You can't keep focusing on the Coles, the Ciampas, the Garganos for the whole, NXT. I mean, we did get that kind of women's tag team, which, it wasn't bad, a little bit of a stinker, but,
No, that was, filler, because then, like you said, for 2 weeks in a row, we haven't seen Legado del Fantasma, though.
Yeah,
any of those guys, so wonder what's going on.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I watch too much wrestling. I cannot watch 205 Live. I don't care if it's an hour. I'm sorry. I'm done.
Because that hour is going to be filled with Jean Paul. NXT UK is back, so we're going to be watching that. So
3 p.m.
3 p.m. England time, and that's going to be probably like 9 o'clock or like.
Well, I think they said it's 8. I forget what their time
8 o'clock is like for England.
Yeah.
For us, it will be 3 p.m. and we're going to be back. But we're going to be talking about all that episode on Saturday. So Jean Paul and I, we just need a little bit of a break so we can watch all the shows. So we're not done. But thank you so very much for watching every single one of our videos, family. Don't forget to catch up the AEW review. We're like with the greatest street fight. And the finger of Mama.
Did you hear the praise? Mick Foley came out and said this is one of the most legit. I didn't actually listen to the video, so I won't say what he said. All I saw was Santana.
You're gonna paraphrase.
Yeah, I just saw what Santana said, and he's like, to get praise from the guy who pretty much invented this. He's like, that means the world to me. So that was legit.
When we say something is good in this main event, was like the street fight was one of the best, like I said. Outside of like, if you don't have Cassidy, would have been candidate of best match of like the whole year. If you just take away Cassidy, but because you did that, I just put him on as a regular match. Despite that, it was really amazing. So don't forget to catch that. We have also Monday Night Raw with Jean Paul talking about Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre, Clash of Champions, a little bit of that. Also, like soccer, we have that. I was just reviewing like my team, Liga Deportiva Universitaria, going against Binacional. So like we have a little bit of for everybody. A little bit of flavors for everybody. So, Jean-Paul, let's talk about, like you said, opening match. Io Shirai going against Shotzi Blackheart. These two baby faces had stare down last week, and that's how NXT started, pretty much, summarizing everything that happened, in Super Tuesdays 2. And, do you see that these two kind of like Shotzi was staring at the title, and she wanted like a match. But this happened to be a really good beginning of the show. I really enjoyed this. Shotzi got a really great showing. And I can see that, like, possibly in the near future, she's going to have a championship match.
Yeah, I could easily see her at some point 2021, maybe even early 2022, depending how this women's division goes. I could easily see her being champion. I think it's just a matter of when, not if, because they're really pushing her. To have this match against Io, and it's non-title, it's like, oh, okay, Io's okay, like 5 minutes and done. No, like if you don't count entrances and everything, they had at least 12 to 15 minutes to wrestle. They gave them a long time. Now Io kind of dominated early, and then then Shotzi made a comeback, and then it was a little bit of back and forth. But like when Shotzi made her comeback, it was a good comeback. She had a lot of offense in, and of course she hits her signature where she like hits the senton when Io's in the ropes, and she almost looks like she lands on her neck every time. Yeah. And there was one spot where she hit this beautiful German suplex on Io. And Well, no, Io hit the one on the apron on Shotzi later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is when she hit it was like a tiger suplex because she had the arms hooked, and then she hit Io back. I mean, that was a legit suplex.
And Io was trying to counter, and it's like, no. And
but then like you said, later on when it was to the back and forth, Io hit that one on the apron, and Shotzi sold it. I mean, now she was thrown back in the ring and everything, so it wasn't like she just laid on the outside and done. But I mean, she actually sold it. It wasn't like AEW where they get up and then hit a spear on the guy who hit him with the German suplex. But I mean, it was a good match. The only complaint I really have about it, and you have the same complaint, is at the end, Io, like, I think her fucking GPS is broke. When she does the moonsault, now again in a real fight, if you're gonna do a moonsault and your knees hit on somebody's chest, yeah, that's gonna hurt because that's like the hard point of your knees driving down right into somebody's chest. But in a wrestling match and wrestling logic, you want to hit chest to chest on the moonsault to do the most damage.
Oh yeah.
But, obviously, when she hit the moonsault, what was it gonna be? Was Shotzi gonna kick out of the finish? No.
Absolutely not.
So, 1, 2, 3, show respect, and maybe Io was like, hey, sorry, I'm bullshit,
give me your hand, legit.
But the one thing I do want to say on commentary, Wade Barrett was like, oh, Shotzi, she's so weird, and she's, I don't like her, and all this other, I love Wade Barrett, I got to imitate him, but he says all this stuff about her, but the one thing he says as the match is going on, he's like, I don't care if she freaks me out and she's weird. And so at this point, he's talking to the audience. He's saying, hey, we don't care if you think, she's weird with the tattoos or the hair or selling pictures of the excrement or whatever. It's like, it's like, hey, she is a legit wrestler. Look at her against Io Shirai. There's no way you could watch this match and be like, oh, she sucks.
And
that's what I mean. I think he was saying
that, he's like, he made me a believer. I believe that she's good. Like, he kind of like grew on her through the match. I like also the spot where like she had the submission hold on Io.
Yes.
Like, she got like that submission hold and Io's like, but like you said, Io kind of like is missing. Yeah, like you said, he's not measuring like the moonsault, but maybe like it's happened a few times already. Maybe.
Well, I have 2 picks, for her next opponent for TakeOver. One of them she has extremely good chemistry with, so hopefully if she hits the moonsault on her, hopefully we'll see. Because if she can't hit it on her, so Candice, then it's broken.
That would be legit. Yeah, I would much rather see Candice, like you said, like look, they show with respect. Like they were like. You see, like, it's 2 baby faces. I really like this. Like you said, Io and Wade Barrett, like, he signed a contract, so he's going to be the voice of NXT. So good for Wade Barrett. Like, maybe that means that, like, not only a commentator, but at some point he can go back and wrestle. We don't know if he's really retired, but that will be good. McIntyre even put a tweet. It's like, every time that you go somewhere, you just follow me there. So it was good. It was a good start for NXT. Jean Paul, like, of course, our champion. We need a contender for her, right? So that was the main announcement that they had, and that means that, like, next week they're gonna have a battle royal to determine the number 1 contender, and there you go, all the girls right there. We get to see Aaliyah, we get to see Candice, Rhea Ripley, Shotzi again, Raquel, we got Jaden Carter, everybody, Casey Catanzaro, all of them, Dakota Kai. So this is gonna be a really good, I said, like, battle royal. And who's your pick over here? You said,
like I said, I mean, I feel like the way that, Rhea is pushed, and Rhea is the future. I mean, like, was she 23, 24? She's arguably one of the best, or at least you could maybe rank her the number 1 women's wrestler in the entire world. And I would say I wouldn't be upset if somebody did that. And I feel like next time she challenges for the title, she has to win it. So I hope she doesn't win it here. So that's why I said Candice, that will be legit. Because, they're kind of pushing Candice a little bit. We saw a continuation with the storyline, with stuff with Tegan and Johnny and all that. So, I mean, unless they're really going to push that, and maybe the 2 of them, like somehow one of them screws over the other in this battle royal. In this, I don't think it's actually a battle. Is it a battle royal?
It is a battle royal.
Yeah, that's the men that I'm thinking. Yeah. So, like, maybe they'll knock each other over, or, like, Candice will get knocked down, pull Tegan over the top rope. I mean, who knows? There could be bullshit, but I'm hoping Candice
is not winning it. And if he is winning it, then, probably.
I'm hoping Candice wins. I'm hoping Candice wins, honestly, but I feel like they're just going to be like, Io, main roster, thank you for everything you've done, and then it's going back to Rhea.
And then, you're right. So, like, that was good. It was a good beginning of a show. Good announcements. Like I said, this show had a lot of announcements, a lot of information. We also get the information from this Jean Paul. NXT Takeover is going to take place Sunday, October the 4th, 7 p.m. on the WWE Network. Another Takeover. And something worth mentioning, Jean Paul, is that I feel that like this is the year that like we've seen most NXT takeovers. I think that like remember that last year and 2 years ago it was only like 4. Even that, and like
they used to only do like 5, 4 or 5. It was always like accompanied with the big 4 pay-per-views, and then they maybe throw an extra one in there. But now I think they're doing it more often. Which I mean, you put on really good matches on NXT, on free television sometimes. It's like, why not just put them on a takeover instead? Like, and if they're building towards this stuff, and if you're going to compete with AEW, I mean, what I mean? It's all on the network. I have it anyway. It's not like I have to pay $60.
It's not $60, so it's fine. It's fine, and we will cover it, like usual. So
exactly.
So Jean Paul, we get like Tommaso Ciampa. He just be like enhancement talent pretty quickly. Nothing really here that like to talk about the match. But see, this is what was really important, and that was Jake Atlas. Jake Atlas comes out and he just interrupts Ciampa, and he says, "Hey, you know what you did to me a few weeks ago? Like 2 weeks ago or so, 2 3 weeks ago." He's like, "Yeah, I was the guy that like you tried to like end his career, but now I'm back." And now it's like before I was looking forward to the match. I wanted to actually fight against you and see what happens and see my level. But now you're going to see the real athlete. Jake Atlas, I want you to see him because I'm pissed. You tried to end me, so that was good. I like the intensity from Jake Atlas. What do you think, Jean Paul?
Oh yeah, this was definitely legit. Like you said, Ciampa, okay, beat the enhancement talent, like okay, whatever. But when Jake Atlas came out, the fire in the promo, because to be honest, I thought, okay, this guy had a good showing in the the round robin cruiserweight tournament, or whatever you want to call it, and it's like, okay, that and done. But he's in this good storyline with Ciampa, and I love the line where he's like, "I'm not like you. I'm not a pussy. I don't attack people from the back. I come out, I face him like a man. I call him out. So next week, you and me in the ring, and we're gonna do this." And Ciampa, he's unhinged. He's crazy. The one thing I want to say, when he comes out with the leather jacket, the mask, the beard coming out from the mask, I mean, the Psycho Killer now more than ever. He looks that looks so legit, and just the dude. He's not the biggest guy, but he's like Finn Balor to me. 0% body fat. He is completely shredded. He looks like a machine. He looks like a psycho.
Oh yeah,
and this match is going to be good. I think.
They're gonna make it good, and like the one thing is, like you said, they don't really have like a main plan for Ciampa, because just Balor became champion. So why would you give it to Ciampa? So, or what will you feud him? I don't know. If for Ciampa to keep losing, I think that like with this, at least he can get some kind of like momentum. He can get some kind of like legitimacy. So maybe later on,
and you could even do Ciampa versus Priest at some point. Man, like he doesn't always have to go for the main title right away.
Because Ciampa hasn't been North American, and Johnny was.
Yeah.
So at least try to be. So that was good. That was good, Jean Paul. And now we get to see Austin Theory, a guy that like not many people like. For like the speak out movement and all of that. And he came out and he goes cutting the promo. He's saying that this was a fluke, Jean Paul. He's all talking.
Doesn't his face? Doesn't he just look like a piece of shit?
Like I said, you said it the best to me. When we've been talking about in the shows or off camera too, it's like the guy's young. He's young. You're gonna make stupid mistakes. You know what I mean? You become like you go to WWE so young. Even Randy Orton. Remember what they said? He was a prig. You like get it over your head. If you don't have the right guidance, if you don't got like people that can really carry you and be like, hey, this is how you behave. This is how you have to act. These are the things you gotta do. Like you're gonna end up making mistakes like this guy did. And this guy like pretty much was cutting the promo and saying, "Hey, he's the future of the company is him." But Bronson Reed was lucky this time. And like it was just a fluke. And it's like, but this week he's gonna show who he is. But after that, Jean Paul, we get to see a guy that like you love, I love also, and but like he has a new attitude. Not the same guy that we were used to seeing before, and that is Kushida.
He came out.
No music. Done.
Yeah, no music, no glasses, no nothing. He just kept fucking flying to the ring. Yeah. And I love Kushida's new gimmick. He hates pedophiles. He's for the children. Because he beat up Velveteen Dream. He's done. But somehow he's going to be in the Gauntlet next week. But we'll talk about that. And then he beat the shit out of Austin Theory here. So who's next? Is he going to go to the Indies and beat up Marty Scurll? Like, I don't know who, but I love the new attitude from Kushida.
Joey Ryan, he has to do that.
Yeah, Joey Ryan. Yeah,
he has to go and get Jordan Devlin.
All of them. Kushida is on a mission. See, he's going to get on his hoverboard and with Marty McFly, and they're going to go and beat up pedophiles. So that's legit. But
that's the gimmick, right?
Yeah, the new gimmick.
And I see Big Joseph and Wade Barrett, they were both saying, the attitude in Kushida, like he's like so unhinged, like he wants to beat people up, like you will see. And he applied the submission hold. He didn't let go. Already he won, like, and you see the face right there. Like he's like, oh my god, like he's so like into it.
And he dominated this. If we didn't make that clear, he dominated this match, and now we see 2 matches in a row where Austin Theory kind of got beat up a little bit. So at least WWE's giving him his receipt. They're like, fucked up. Now we're gonna stretch you. You're lucky we didn't fire you, but we're gonna stretch you. We're gonna kick your ass. We're gonna make you look like an idiot, and you're gonna have to climb your way, out of the gutter. But this is good for Kushida, and I much preferred him as the babyface. The look at the wrist, the goggles, the whole gimmick. But if they are like, hey, we can't really push you as a babyface right now, but we can really push you as a heel, then I'm all for it. As long as he's getting pushed, I'm for it.
That's good, And now, like you said, let's talk about it with Finn Balor really quick because you already mentioned this. Like he had a quick promo. That's what it was, promo. Saying like, like whoever guy wants to come after me, just know that like I'm the line, and you are not able to go, with the Prince. And the Prince, it was good, but like you said, no celebration. What's going on? That was a little.
I really like the promo though, because when he's like, oh, people are asking me, Finn, it was 4 years since you won it. He's like, what's the difference? He's like, 4 years ago, he's like, I made the brand. I was the brand. I had to promote the brand. He's like, now 4 years later, I'm brought back here. He's like, pretty much to save the brand. And he didn't really say it, but it's like, hey, we're in like a ratings war. You got to put the belt on the best guy, the guy who everybody wants to see, the guy who's, legit, and it's Finn Balor. And see, he is legit, but unfortunately, it's like they weren't really promoting him and pushing him legit. And I feel the way to really market him is the Demon. Now, I'm not saying he has to be the Demon every match, but that was just really marketable. It's almost like the Fiend. Why is the Fiend so? If the Fiend was just sweater wearing Bray Wyatt, everyone would be like, so.
Oh yeah, it's true.
But it's the Fiend.
Jean Paul, they asked him about the Fiend in like an interview, and he said, "Are you going to bring the Fiend back?" And he's like, "No, not in the near time." He said,
the Demon, yeah.
Yeah, it's like he said that like pretty much that kind of interferes with Finn Balor himself because people more rely on the Demon. He's like, I think that they see me as like I'm going to win every time if I pull the Demon out. Yeah, that was a one trick only. Supposed to be, that time with Kevin Owens and the thing in
Japan
Kingdom. That was it. But supposedly they love it that much. It's like, okay, let's keep doing it.
Well, I would I see the only time I would have brought it out with this iteration of Finn Balor would have been against Karrion Kross.
That would be good.
Because that would have at least made sense because they have the supernatural powers we saw with the fireball and shit.
Or if he ever goes back to the main roster, bring it out against the Fiend, and then he gets the win back. And then maybe that's it. But
But no, this promo was good. Like you said, the line starts here, this and that. Everybody line up, face the Prince. They had to do that shot where he's pointing down and he's like, "Look at my dick." It's like okay, but
yeah, absolutely. So it was good. But like, hopefully we can see him next week because at least he's our champion, so we want to see him. Good stuff from him.
I would have him actually on commentary for that Battle Royal match, or the Gauntlet match.
The Gauntlet match. Yeah, the Gauntlet match. We're gonna talk about the Gauntlet in a little bit because we have like the Tag Team Championship match. Fandango defending and Tyler Breeze going against the Imperium. So this was a good match. This was pretty good and the right winner for me because they still they need to have the titles on these two guys.
Tell me though about your major complaint.
The major complaint. Yeah, sure. Like the music. I like pretty much they have screwed up Imperium's theme song. I don't like that because I don't even care it doesn't rise for me anymore. It's like and now it's like and I'm like it's a freaking awful arrangement of the song. I don't like it, so like that was really bad for me, and they didn't even like end the entrance. They just ran to the ring. I understand it.
You know what's gonna be bullshit for me the most is seeing Walter and having the new bullshit theme song.
Or maybe for Walter they have the legit one, but
hopefully,
but like you're right, like it's gonna be really bad. Walter was on the bump. and he was talking about how, like, I remember Alexander Wolf when we covered Worlds Collide, like he got injured and the match was in the Undisputed Era. He was talking about that. I remember seeing that for a little bit. But, like, going back to this, the match was pretty good. I enjoyed this. Both, Fandango and Tyler Breeze, they look good. They're not treated as a joke much anymore. It's kind of like, yeah, they do jokes, but they're serious now. So I like that.
And again, this is the commentary is just so much, and nothing against JR and Shivani, Excalibur, hey. But nothing against those two guys, but the commentary on NXT I feel is so much more professional and legit when they want to get something over, because they just said what you mentioned. They said, yeah, Breezango, they like to have fun, they like to whatever, dance around, but when the bell rings, they're all business. And like when a commentary says that and gets stuff over, that's what we latch onto. Sometimes it's not what we see on TV, but it's what we hear, from the TV. So when the commentary says that, you're like, oh, okay, legit. Same thing with Shotzi. They were like, hey, you might not like the Punk look, but you got to admit she's a good wrestler. And, but this match was good for me. Obviously, the right winners, like you said, Breezango won this thing. And, it was good. Imperium, they were like really, they got the hot start. They were like, we're not waiting for the rules. I think Eichner, he like got a cheap shot in, and then Bartel started the thing. And, they were going at it. They isolated Fandango. And then Tyler Breeze, he was the one making the hot tags, and then it was a couple more like hot tags, back and forth.
They did like their special like tag team moves, like Imperium. Yeah. They did like they did a red German suplex into like a clothesline, and that was really close. And Fandango like kicked out, and you will see how like I think it was Agner. He was like but like, you will see how like he was pissed. So
that's what I mean. There was the real emotion for this match, not like sometimes even on NXT and WWE main roster where we see title matches and the people who are challenging for the title, they're through the match they're just like so like there's no like emotion, like they're pissed. They wanted these belts, they wanted to win. And, but Breezango wanted to win even more.
And Tyler Breeze ended up like doing like, it was like, not kind of like a sunset flip, but it was like a combination pin, and then he actually held that. So it was good, and then they retained the title.
Yeah, because they went for the European bomb, and then he countered that, and then,
They countered it, but like, see, Jean Paul, very quick, tell me, like, I keep hearing rumors about your booking. I keep hearing that, like, there's a idea of unified all the tag team titles. I keep hearing that NXT and SmackDown and Raw, they want to unify all the tag team belts and then just have one division. Is that what you want to see?
I don't.
Everything's separate, but it's just me.
I don't like with how much they do the brand-to-brand invitational on the main roster, and we saw Bayley and Sasha on every show pretty much every week for how many weeks. I would say just do the main roster belts. I want to see NXT, whatever. Now, I don't care if they want to do something along the lines of like, oh, let's have NXT UK guys come over from time to time, because they have a pretty stacked tag team division. Or if you want to, but see, even unifying those belts because you're on different continents, that might be a little tough. But yeah. I mean, I don't know. I would rather just see NXT keep their belts and main roster unify them. But I mean, if the option is to unify all three or keep them all separate, then I'm going to say keep them all separate.
Yeah, but like I said, there's a rune, and when there's a rune, it's kind of your freaking booking, because it's like, oh, they said they might unify all of them. So Jean Paul, good stuff. I mean, we keep like the tag team champions that we won. Imperium will have their chance now that Walter is back. Maybe they can go back to the UK and then maybe go and start challenging over there. We'll see what they do. But like we had, like you said, a promo by Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae. They were pretty much, hey, Tegan, you destroy our like living room. We can even watch TV. It's all this bullshit. Like there's spaghetti everywhere. So because of you, we have to like be in the guest room, and it's like we haven't been there forever. So Johnny's talking about, well, there's going to be this gauntlet match, maybe a minute, I'm not sure. And then Candice was saying about the Battle Royal, and she said, once I win it, I'm going to go into Takeover, become the women's champion. And Johnny's like, maybe if I'm in it, I'll win that, and then I'll beat Balor. So it's like, by the end of, like, we're going to order a new TV. By the time the TV's, here, maybe we'll have both championships, and then we finally will celebrate. So that was okay. I mean, I like Candice's hair. She looks really pretty like that. But other than that, I mean, it was just a promo. So, nothing much.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just the heat, like the shit face heel, like, oh, what, like you're too good or you're too bullshit to even clean up your own spaghetti? Because it's still down there. It's like, clean it up, Yeah, and then I love that he's like, oh, I ordered like a 100-inch TV or like whatever, kind of bullshit he was saying. So they're just hamming it up being like immature, like bullshit heels. But I will see. Like I said, Candice is still my pick, who I want to win the Battle Royal. but that's not who I think.
We know Ray is gonna win. Yeah, Ray is gonna win. So let's go, Jean Paul, to like this is like you said, the filler. 2 seconds of this, and it was Jessie Camia. She was pretty much teaming up with Xia Li, and then they had a match against a tag team that they still been a tag team. So maybe at some point it will be cool if they give these girls like a title shot. It will be really great for them. Is Casey Catanzaro, and Kaden Carter. Mm-hmm. So like they've been tagging for like a month, 3 months already.
And here a little attention to detail. If you look at that picture, they're both wearing black with blue accent and yellow. So they look their gear matches.
It's a tag team,
and that I love. If you're like, oh, we're a tag team. Yep. If you're like, we're a tag team, and you come out, one's wearing pink and the other's wearing like orange. No, you're not a tag team. You're bullshit. But you got the matching colors. Okay, now I believe you. Now when let's see if you agree with me on this, but when I'm like, this was kind of shit, this was like whatever, it's just because I'm like, what was it for? All of these women they're pretty much the lowest, and no offense, because I like Xia Li, I like Kaden Carter. The other 2 women I want to see more of before I'm going to be like, oh, I like them, but they're pretty much just the bottom women that are in this battle royal. So this is just kind of like a showcase for them. I think Xia Li is the best out of all 4. And, of course, I would say they were maybe the heel team, if you wanted to say who was heel and who was face in this match. And then, they had the Babyfaces go over. Now, I do like the teamwork between Catanzaro and Carter.
Oh,
yeah. They have good teamwork.
The winning combination was really good. But, like, the one thing is that they're doing this to hype the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
And also to maybe, like, establish this two as a tag team.
And the only thing that I really liked out of it is the end when it's like, okay, we're all baby faces. Who was Xia Li's partner? What did you say her name was?
JD Cameo.
Yeah. She was like, oh, okay, let me like shake the hand, or they did the fist bump, whatever. They're like, we're all legit. We'll see each other next week. Xia Li was like, fuck this, like I'm out of here.
No,
she was like pissed. So that would be something maybe to see in the Battle Royal. I mean, she was really never established as like, is she babyface? Is she heel? Because she would just wrestle and done. Remember, she was with Aaliyah with the Robert Stone brand.
Yeah. She had like a little bit of issues right there. Like somebody like broke his like. I know why I think she broke Aaliyah's like the nose and stuff. Like that. So,
but I mean, other than that, we haven't really seen anything. So maybe this is kind of a push for her. So we'll see what they do. But yeah, this to me was like a
filler. I mean, like the combination. Kaden Carter is a great wrestler, and she's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I think that like she will have a really big shot on like an opportunity once she goes singles. But for now, maybe like it might be like the like the upset of the Battle Royal. We'll see what happens, but this was, like you said, it was just the filler because Jean-Paul, the main story was supposed to take us to like these 2 guys that like are a tag team but not really a tag team, and that's Dre Maverick with Killian Dane going against the Undisputed Era, Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish. So this was like pretty much the match. Maverick came out by himself, so he was getting
I like the setup before that when he's walking through. And then, like, Killian Dane's there. He's like, oh, there you are. And he's like, yeah, you weren't returning any of my messages or texts or anything. Are you ready for this match? He's like, dude, listen, I'm not your partner. You're bullshit. Like, I didn't agree to this. I don't want this. And it reminded me, like, when the new shift manager is trying to tell the person who's been working there for, like, 30 years, like, so you're going to work this shift, right? Like, you're going to show up, right? You're going to close lobby. And he's like, screw you. And he's like, all right, sweet. I'll put you down for 10 o'clock. So I mean, that was. But the one thing with Maverick, it's like, like this guy's like a joke or whatever. To me, at least, this is more legit than chasing the 24/7 championship all the time.
Yeah,
and I actually like this storyline because it's like humorous. NXT. I like it because it has the serious tone, but you need a little bit of humor or the show loses it. So this is the humor. We didn't see any Robert Stone, so that's normally the humor. And this was the humor. So they got this. And like you said, the match, he has always that underdog, fight from behind, never quit. And, but they were beating his ass, but he kept going. And then you see Killian Dane is sitting in the back. He's like laughing, like, look at this bullshit. Whatever.
Like pretty much right there. By himself, he was getting his ass kicked. Like you said, like pretty much like the Undisputed Era having fun with the guy. Mm-hmm. But then, you said they will get like shots of like Killian Dane, like just enjoying this. Until, we go on commercial break, and after the commercial break, we get to see this. William Regal goes and talks to him, and he's like, are you really going to let this dude be by himself? And he's like, yeah, I don't care. He's like, I don't give a shit. He's like, no. He's like, are you really gonna do that? So he like the pep talk. He's like,
yeah. And then he's like, I heard Juan was checking out Nikki Cross, and he's like, what?
Oh yeah.
And he's like, what?
Yeah. It's like he's talking to me. He's like, what? So I need to go to the ring right away. Yes, yes. He's like, oh, like okay, they're actually talking.
Yeah, he's like, go take care of your house. And
yeah, go take care of your house, and he does, and pretty much like this made it into like a DQ because he came out, but then the Undisputed Era. They beat him, Joe Maverick with a chair, right? That's how it was.
He came down, and Maverick was like, oh, yeah, you're going to help me, and he didn't really help him. All he did was throw Maverick back in the ring to get his ass kicked. He's like, get your ass kicked. I don't care. This is,
they
this is bullshit.
Love, right?
And then Roderick Strong's like, you fat fuck, and he's like, what?
It's just fat fuck, and he's like, what? And now he's like, oh, yeah, it was like Nick.
And then Bobby Fish had the chair and was like, down, and hit him, and then they
like,
run
Nick has a nice ass.
Yeah.
yeah. That's legit. So legit. Yeah, you made me pop with this one. Yeah. And there you go. And then he beats Drake Maverick once again.
Oh, yeah.
So this, like you said, this probably is like what? The story of like two guys that are going to become a team at some point. And then
the only thing I was hoping, because I knew they weren't going to come out and be best friends, hug in the middle of the ring, give the people what they want. No, I knew it was going to take time, but I don't like how long it's taking, because if you take a while for these guys to become a tag team and become friends, by the time they do it, no one will give a shit. I think if we see them next week or whatever the next time we see them, they need to, at the end of their segment, be like, okay, maybe we got something going here. Let's give this a shot. Because if you keep yeah, exactly. Because if you keep taking too long, like I said, by the time they do team up, everyone, because nowadays people's attention span is very short. You need to grab people right away. But I'm fine with him kind of beating him down. Like I said, Maverick sells it. He's funny. Every time I see him, he grows on me. I never disliked him, but he's definitely growing on me. So we'll see where they go with this.
I think it was okay. We had a quick promo also, but like Jake Atlas was walking, Jean-Paul, and he was just going to the back, and he gets attacked by Tommaso Ciampa from the back. And like you said, like Tommaso Ciampa, like he attacks people from the back. So like boom, because they were asking him, is like, how do you feel? You're gonna have a match with Ciampa, and then boom, Ciampa attacks. He starts beating him up really bad.
And I do like the one line because they were outside and he pushed him into like the truck and all that. And when Ciampa's like, "Oh, you wanted to eat at my table," and I'm like, that's a legit line. Like, "Oh, you thought you could be in the main event? You thought you could be with me? You thought you wanted to eat at my table?" Yes. I'm like, unless he was talking about catering. Unless he's like, don't sit at my table in catering.
Yeah,
I mean, he beat him up, and I mean, it adds heat for the match. Even though I thought the promo was good enough, but completely random. Like, was he just like taking a shit and he just like was walking by? But yeah, he was like, he gets in Ciampa's face, and now the one thing, if that's a future matchup, that it will be legit. Because Kyle O'Reilly, if he would ever go singles, I would be completely fine with that.
And that's the one thing that, like, they always said that, like, out of the three of the Undisputed aside of Cole, right? Out of the three remaining, Kyle O'Reilly has the most charisma. And Kyle O'Reilly has the most potential to be a gimmick and then be on his own. Because remember how he'll come out and he's like, like with the guitar and like the title. He'll make the jokes.
Or like when they did the therapist and he had the glasses and the hat. And he's like, with Roderick Strong. He has a lot of
potential. So maybe they're designed to go that route. Keep him in the Undisputed Era, but hey, kind of give him like his own gig also. Maybe that's what they want to do. And it will be interesting. So we'll see what happens, next week. Because he said, Ciampa says, I'll see you and you next week. That was good. So, Jean-Paul, you were mentioning this throughout the whole show. We had like the rules for like the Gauntlet match right here. William Regal had to like develop this for us, and it's gonna be like 2 men will start in the ring every 4 minutes. Another competitor will enter. The only way to be eliminated, pinfall or submission. Like kind of like most Gauntlet matches in the WWE.
Yeah. Now the only thing I do like is we could see multiple people in the ring. Now, obviously, like no shit, there'll be at least 2, but I mean we could see 3, 4. I don't think there'll be more than 3 or 4. I think 4 would be stretching it, but I think there will at some point be 3 people. Because 4 minutes isn't long, especially with the talent they showed. It was Bronson Reed. Kushida was one, Velveteen Dream, Legado del Fantasma. Now, Regal did mention, the guys who were in the Gauntlet match. He's like, 2 weeks ago we had the Gauntlet match, then we had Finn Balor and Cole. but he didn't mention that they were going to be in the match. At least I didn't hear it. So if that's the case, Bronson Reed's another one if I didn't mention him. So I'm hoping it's just these mid-card guys, because that would be legit, because I don't think whoever wins is going to beat Finn Balor. That would be a complete upset. That would be like, then why even give the belt to the guy? Especially when you're trying to portray him as the most legit thing.
You know what I mean? Yeah. No, what's the point of doing that? No, I don't think that's going to happen. So, but this is good. We have all the rules. So remember, so this is next week. So we're going to get a number one contender. Will and Regal was wishing luck to every single one guy that is going to be involved in this. So it's good. So I feel that whoever wins it, like you said, if it is a mid-card, is a good opportunity for them to headline.
Yeah, and I'm excited for this. And if you want to ask me who I think or who I hope wins, and it might hurt him, but I mean, man, it'll look cool. But I hope, Legado del Fantasma wins.
Oh yeah, Santos Escobar.
Yes, yeah.
That would be really good.
I hope Escobar. I hope he wins, because you just come out there in the suit. He has his cruiserweight title. Balor comes out with his title. I think that would look legit.
It will be a good, it will be a good initiative. It will be a good opportunity. It will be a good, idea to push. We'll see what happens. I hope it's not because every time that he shows up, the whole internet blows up, saying fire the guy. They're not gonna fire him. So I don't think that's the guy. Maybe Bronson Reed. Maybe that will be okay. Maybe like you said, maybe another guy that is mid card. So we'll see what they do. I mean, I'm looking forward to this. And the big thing is not the main guys are there. I would say, for me, if you have Roderick Strong in it, do Roderick Strong. If you have Kyle O'Reilly, do Kyle O'Reilly. It's somebody that is different. Not the same Paul, not the same dudes, not the same guys all the time. So now, Jean Paul, let's talk about the main event. The North American Championship on the line. Damian Priest defending against Timothy Thatcher. This match, like you said, they gave them time, around 12 minutes or so with the entrances and everything. This was good. Timothy Thatcher, for the most part of the match, he dominated, using his style, grounded, like you like to say. And he just tried to, wear out Damian Priest, but in the end, of course, we knew that the man that lives forever, he was gonna win the win. It's he's been the champion for way too we want a small amount of time, really short, so a few weeks. So there was no way that he was gonna lose it. But at least he gets the first title defense that is very convincing for me, very believable. I'm really forward to keep seeing Damian Priest. I wouldn't mind him challenging Balor one more time, but he's a champion, so he needs to be on his own. But what do you think of this, Jean Paul?
No, it was a good match. I really liked it. The one thing is for Timothy Thatcher is at first I was I feel like he's another one like Drake Maverick. Every time I see him, I kind of liking him a little more, but because I really like, he was when he was training, they just even his symbol or whatever you want to call it, the design they have for him with the T's and everything, it just looks legit. And the dude is also jacked. I didn't realize he was 6'3", so he's tall. I thought he was shorter, maybe Finn Balor, the 5'10", 5'11", but he's tall, and because Priest is tall too. Priest is 6'5", 6'6". So yeah, I mean, these two guys were going at it, and I do love how they thought, these contrasts and styles. That's all they were saying before the match. And as soon as it starts, you see Damian Priest is doing holds, headlocks, and everything. So they're Priest is no, I'm legit too, and that's one thing about that's the one thing about him. It's not guys where it's I'm an indie flippy guy. Oh, well, I'm a wrestler, and the two styles don't mix. These guys were no, we're both legit wrestlers. We can mesh our styles together and make it look good. And this was good. Thatcher did dominate, and that's the thing about him. They always make him look good, but then when it's a match that really matters, the only match that he won that really mattered was the Fight Pit against Matt Riddle, which is still a pretty big win, but it was almost forgotten if they wouldn't mention it from time to time because it wasn't for anything. It was just kind of like a grudge match feud. But I mean, this was good, and it's another one that was a little obvious. You knew he wasn't going to win, but I do think they are going to do something with Thatcher. I don't think he'll ever be NXT champ. Done. He's like, oh, am I going to win this one, Triple H? And he's all right, well done.
That's when we feel when sometimes we got to watch some shows like the Monday Night Raw done.
Mm-hmm. Right there, yeah, done. But I mean, it was good. There isn't really too much to say because it wasn't oh, look at these crazy spots, look at this, look at that. It was just a really good, hard-hitting wrestling match. The guys were really hitting each other. The one thing about Thatcher, which just probably explains why he doesn't have much teeth, is you look when guys get hit in the face with either kicks or elbow strikes, they do one of these numbers at the last second.
Yeah.
I never see him put his hands up. He eats elbows, fists, feet, knees, everything right to his face, and I'm like, that is legit. That is badass.
The guys like what we would say, Chris Benoit from like our generation. Like he's hard hitting. He understands.
I hear people say all the time he could have wrestled in the 70s and 80s and nobody would have been like, who is this guy? They would have been. They would have been. Yeah, this guy's legit. But
our boy Stephen Logan loves Timothy Thatcher. Yep. He says, and I had discussions with him. It's like he reminds me of Chris Benoit. He's like, that kind of like wrestler. He's like, do we take this serious? We do it like old fashioned.
Well, if Chris Benoit was as tall as him, he would probably be like a 7-time world champ.
Well, it's true. I mean, but Benoit had a little bit more charisma. Maybe Thatcher, they need to work on that. For at least for me, he doesn't have really a gimmick or stuff. To me,
like Thatcher would have benefited. I feel if he would have been part of like a group and got over in the group.
Yes, yeah, that's how we will.
Because like for him to get over. He was getting over when it was him and Matt Riddle because it was like the odd couple again. It was like, you stretch them and I'll break or like whatever they had. They had the little like gimmick. Yes. Yeah, but I mean this match, we've been saying it's good. The Archer of Infamy, he lives forever. Yep. And a good main event for NXT.
The awakening and done. And done. And then, and I use Priest was celebrating. I really like that picture says it all. Live forever in the back. Like the symbol, and then he is standing tall, wearing the white outfit.
Yep. Thank you. You must have been reading my mind because I was just going to mention that. The gear. I like how it wasn't a pay-per-view. It wasn't anything, but hey, this is his first defense. I'm going to come out wearing special gear. Yes. You know what I mean? I'm not going to just wear the same old, default, roster attire in WWE 2K, whatever. No. I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to look legit. And, I like that.
Boom, there you go. Good stuff. I really like this, and it's a good episode. Very solid because what we saw. We got a little bit of Tegan Knox also. Tegan Knox was saying that she wants to, beat Candice, and she's going to be #1 contender, and this time against Zio is going to be different because everything has changed. I don't know what has changed from Tegan.
I was just, that to me, like, I knew we didn't mention it. I knew we didn't mention it when we got to the main event, and that to me was the bottom of the shitter. It was that, then the women's tag match, and then, going up, but I was like, what has changed? You had salad thrown in your face last week? Is that what changed?
She salads right now, that's the one thing that has changed about Tegan Knox, and the fact that, like, she just said that, I'm like, okay, whatever. She's not going to win it. She has an opportunity. That's her ceiling for now in NXT. So, Jean-Paul, that's the picture that we want to live. We want to live forever. We want to see that picture forever, so that's good. That's the wrap it up for the whole show NXT, Jean-Paul. We're looking forward to what's happening next week. Thank you so very much, family, for watching this video, for all the support you give us. Don't forget, right there, for Jean-Paul is going to tell you where you can actually subscribe and follow us in the social media world.
Well, if you guys haven't already, you can go to Facebook under Rope Break and follow us there. You can follow us on Twitter, the OG Rope Break, Instagram, the original Rope Break, and right here on YouTube for the best podcast in the YouTube wrestling community. The original Rope Break.
That's right. And family, we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Jean-Paul, myself, we're going to be covering SmackDown. What happens with the Big Dog and Jey Uso. A lot of pictures online. I've been seeing of them when they were, children and stuff like, the real team and stuff like that. We'll see at least. I want to have a good SmackDown. We'll see what happens with the Fiend and all of that. We'll have a lot of more info. And Saturday, we're going to have Impact. We're going to be a little bit talking about Impact. We're going to be talking about also like NXT UK. So it's going to be a good Saturday for us. More laid back than usual. No pay-per-view this weekend. And then we're going to be covering next week is going to be Clash with Champions and then NXT Takeover. Can we live? Or can we live forever? That's where we ask Damien.
Exactly.
So, Jean-Paul, you and me have one more thing that is left to say. And that is...